Happy Wednesday. It is Wednesday, December the 3rd. And today I want to welcome you to the circus. Ringling Brothers Barnum and Bailey had to shut down early because we are officially a clown show. And honestly, I might as well make it jokes, right? Because what else is there to do? So wearing my little tam today in honor of Tim Pool. I'll dedicate a little couple minutes to you at the end of this live stream. But hey, Tim Pool, thanks for being inspirational this week. You look like a condom, but thanks for being inspirational. We really appreciate you. So, I'm going to go ahead and just kick it off with a little bit of a diatribe on Donald Trump's last 4 pardons. Now, one of the favorite things that I'm really enjoying about Trump is everything is a hoax, right? Epstein is a hoax, even though Epstein died on Trump's watch. Epstein is a hoax, even though Trump and Epstein were buddies for at least 2 decades. Epstein is a Democrat hoax, even though Donald Trump said himself he was a Democrat most of his life until it benefited him to grift on the spineless Republican Party. They were a much easier party to grift on than the Democrats, who, in their pursuit of endless power, seem to be able to fall in line with each other. Republicans can't do that. The Republican Party is run by spineless cowards, and the people that vote for the Republican Party think that they're voting for godly or Christian or righteous people in any capacity, except those people in power are the same as the Democrats. You are literally voting for the same demon, different logo, different animal from the zoo. We're all still locked up, right? So, okay. But Epstein was a hoax. Now, my new favorite one is apparently affordability is also a hoax. And I think that's a little bit funny because who wouldn't think that that's funny that the president would say that? But let me go ahead and just quickly show you this as always, the eloquence of our president is inspirational. Not a hoax. It's just inspirational. So go ahead and just share Trump talking about the newest hoax.
I mean, these are the facts we have to get out. And, there's this fake narrative that the Democrats talk about, affordability. They just say the word. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. Just say it. Affordability. It's inflation in history. There was no affordability. Nobody could afford anything. The prices were massively high. Do you remember when we took over eggs? You did a great job on that, Madam Secretary. Agriculture, Brooke. Eggs were 4 or 5 times higher than they had ever been. They said don't order eggs for Easter at the White House. And we ended up doing it, and we got the egg prices way down, lower than what they were before. But the word affordability is a con job.
We're not a serious country.
I watched the other day where some very low IQ congresswoman talked about affordability. She had no idea. Their prices were much higher.
What do you mean? What is affordable? You don't get to sit on a gold toilet? You don't want to pay for that? The irony about Trump will always be that the working man put this man in office. The working man. But let's really go into hoaxes. All right. So, there's a lot of hoaxes, right? Insurance in this country is a hoax. The military-industrial complex and their ethical behavior is a massive hoax. The Republicans and the Democrats hating each other is a hoax because they obviously love each other. There's no way that they would just screw us at the same time, in the same way every single time. They love each other. They're best friends. They're buddies. They're partners in crime. Now, the only hoax I think that is verifiable 1,000 million quadrillion % is Donald Trump ever hoping to make life better for the average American person. The people that actually voted for him, the people that left the Democratic Party, the people that were independents like me, that actually went and registered to be a Republican for the first time in her life. You kind of screwed us over. I didn't vote for you last election, but I did vote for you when you went ahead and did January 6th. So didn't really vote for you again after that. But I find it very interesting that Donald Trump talks about how this country is being taken advantage of by everybody. All of the world is taking advantage of us, pretty much taking the whole US, bending it over the desk and having its way with us. But not him, not his transparent and honest administration. Joe Biden pardoned a historic amount of people with an auto pen. Donald Trump is just pardoning straight up criminals. And he is doing it in such a blanket and openly corrupt way that it is really hard to not call it out for what it is. So let's look at his most recent acts of pardon, because they're in no way an act of justice. In his first term, he pardoned a grandmother who had been in prison for smuggling marijuana. Obviously, release her. That's stupid. Maybe serve a year or two. I can't defend that, but you know what I mean? Like maybe, but the rest of her life for weed? For weed? Okay. Well, he went ahead this week and he pardons the ex-president of Honduras. Now, why would Trump pardon the ex-president of a Latin American country? That's weird, right? Well, Juan Orlando Hernández was the former president of Honduras, and he was convicted for his role in a massive drug trafficking and firearms conspiracy, working with the one and only El Chapo. He served almost no time and has been released from prison. Thank you, Donald Trump. Even though he was flooding the US with over 400 tons of cocaine. 400 tons of cocaine. Now, mind you, we are bombing random boats in the ocean, claiming that they're smuggling drugs into the US, when there is no proof that Venezuela is a major trafficker of any of these drugs. No proof, not provided by the DEA, not provided by the White House, not provided by Secretary with the part. I don't even know what Hexit's title is. It is so corny, and I do not take that man serious. Check out my thumbnail. That's what I think he should spend all day doing, if that's not what he's doing in the Oval Office every day. I have no respect for him. I'm sorry. He should have never been given that position. You're a pretty boy from Fox News. You're a propagandist. Go be that. Yes, you were a soldier, and thank you for your service. You should not be running it. You have an obvious agenda, and you seem to be an imbecile. So, Hexit, you all are trying to start a war with Venezuela. Which, by the way, any Latino who understands the way Cuban mindset in Miami works, we all saw this coming. Little Rubio is in league with all of the Chavistas who ran out of Venezuela, stealing all of their money. Yeah, we all grew up with you. We know you driving around in your Mercedes and your Venezuela and your Audis while your people are starving back home because you robbed that country blind. And now you're over here from the United States instigating a war back in your home country. So what? So you guys can go back in there? So you can get the banks in there? So you can get usury in there? So you can get the Rothschilds? Their little tentacles in there too? That you're willing to start a war that will probably never end. It'll probably be another Vietnam. I think Latinos do guerrilla warfare very well. You're surrounded by countries that are not going to be okay with the United States having boots on the ground. You risk a conflict with Russia and China because they have built allyship with these countries, because the US likes to ignore Latin America and treat Latin America like subordinates, like we're beneath them. I mean, geographically, yes, we're beneath you, but we're all humans. We're all equal under the eyes of God. We're all made in his image. Why do we walk around acting like we're better than people? So you want to start a war with Venezuela. And you want to start a war with Venezuela because they're big drug traffickers. And in the same month that you talk about getting boots on the ground in Venezuela, you're over here freeing a guy that is actually a drug trafficker, that is actually a human trafficker, that has funded some of the most nefarious practices that these cartels do. And you let him out because you care about the American people? You run on a platform about the war on drugs. You are demonizing Hispanics in this country, even though we're 20% of it, and you are demonizing us as less than. And you are letting somebody out of prison who actually was caught doing it. Why would you do that? And then you have Leavitt over here yapping away about how this guy is a political prisoner. I will tell you that this man most likely committed the crime. Let's be honest. It's Latin America. It's highly corrupt. But you seem to be on a campaign of just letting people out of jail because they're paying you. And it seems it's very obvious because now you can't even pretend that this is something that is, oh, he was just wrongfully accused. No, he wasn't wrongfully accused. You were rightfully paid off. So I also, my theory that is, of course, it's not proven at all. And you can tell me I'm wrong here, and I don't care. I think I know why Trump let him go. Okay? Now, I need y'all to take a really close look at Donald Trump Jr.'s eyes, because I think I know where the 400 tons
district, or you know someone in that district, or you even know someone in Tennessee who may be in that district, call them. Make sure they get out and vote. Our superpower as conservatives is to sit it out. To say we got what we wanted in the big one for president and we're going to sit everything else out. You may end up
Also,
with this lunatic representing you. So Tennessee, call everyone you know. If you know someone in the 7th district, get out there and vote.
Donald Trump Jr.
Call them.
is giving me
Apathy
Hunter Biden vibes.
will let
even
this
teeth.
person be in
Even
charge,
the
right?
teeth, bro.
Last
He's
week,
giving me the
we
meth
showed you a
teeth, like
tape
he's
of
had them
after Ben
replaced
openly
fully.
condemning women who
Anyways.
get married and have families.
My sense of humor is not for everybody, but I do think that Donald Trump Jr. looks like a cokehead lately, more so than before. And if I was under this dad's administration and I was entering 10 months ago thinking that we were securing the legacy for Trump's to be shoved down our throat for the next 100 years, well, your dad kind of killed that in 10 months. And JD Vance's career is probably out the window too. So keep going, guys. Keep going. Tennessee, by the way, almost lost their Republican seat. And you could say, 9 points is not a big deal. But this girl, Afton Bain, was wholly unlikable. She literally recorded herself talking about how much she hated country music. And she gained like 11 points. She gained 11 points on this guy, this Matt Van Epps. He's not even from Tennessee. He's like from Ohio originally. And they brought him in. He's obviously another APAC candidate. But this should be kind of like a warning for the midterms. I think that it's actually, it says a lot that it was a, here, let me put it here, because it's a little bit crazy when you see, I'm so bad at sharing my screen. So this chick, she was kind of horrible. She like just reminds me of like the Democrats from Virginia. But she actually, like, Trump had a 22-point lead. The guy before had like a 19-point lead. And this girl came in and the gap was 9. So you're talking that, yes, Tennessee's obviously getting filled with more liberals and people leaving California. Tennessee's freaking beautiful, by the way. It's the only place I've ever been that country music makes sense. So I will say that. I'm not a country music fan, but it makes sense in Tennessee. And it's a beautiful state. So she really just did not like Nashville and like recorded herself saying that, but like she's from out there. So I guess maybe she should be able to bash the fact that all these tourists have shown up and turned it into like Dolly Parton land. But either way, I don't think the midterms are going to go well. This isn't showing that it's going to go well, because if a deep, deep, deep red state like Tennessee was causing the Republicans to sweat, they are cooked in all the swing states. They are cooked. And I'm sorry, you deserve it. I'm going to join the bandwagon here with all of the woke right. I kind of like that term. So thank you, Netanyahu. But I don't want to vote for you. I'm not going to vote for you. I'm just not going to vote. That's my protest. I'm not voting for the lesser of two evils. You're all demonic. You're all evil. And I don't see the point in it. And I really don't. And I keep asking every day for clarity. And every day I keep waking up more solidified in the fact that there is a lot of evil in this world. I'm not voting. But the next person that Trump went ahead and did us all the favor of releasing is, let me go to this guy. This guy sucks. A lot of them suck. Let's be honest, guys. There's not one of the people I'm going to talk about is like a good person. So Trump, the president of the people, the billionaire hedge fund guy, the one that we kind of should have known was not going to be sitting here working for us, but we bought it. We bought it. He went ahead and released this CEO that was convicted of fraud, of defrauding $1.6 billion from retail investors. Not Ken Griffin, which nobody would care if that man's entire company collapsed. We care about the layoffs for people, but not him, right? No. David Gentile defrauded thousands of people. He was convicted of securities and wire fraud. It cost investors $1.6 billion. He was just starting his 7-year sentence, and Trump decided to do him the favor of commuting it. Now, Gentile didn't even use this money for anything other than just supporting his lavish lifestyle. And they claim that like over 100,000 everyday Americans were impacted. I mean, talk about small business owners, farmers, veterans, teachers, nurses. This was their savings, their 401k. He took it, invested it, spent it on himself, screwed them over, got convicted of it as he should have gotten life in prison. You take someone's livelihood, I'm sorry, you don't deserve to have a life. If you take thousands of people's livelihood, we can't take your life 1,000 times. So what do you deserve? An eye for an eye leaves the whole world blind, but man, no consequences leaves us where we are now, where evilness keeps winning. And we're supposed to sit here and be okay with it and accept the scraps, right? So Gentile, thank you so much. Mr. President, thank you for continuing week over week to show MAGA why the liberals were right every time they called them stupid. Because anybody's still supporting you at this point. I mean, the only win that you have under your belt, is deportations. And at this moment, you are still behind Obama's numbers at the same track in his presidency. And he didn't have to do all of the ugly shit that you're doing and all of the demonization and all of the just honestly illegal behavior in the lawsuits that your little fat boys in ICE are dredging up. And I'm not going to defend the liberals that are acting stupid or the idiots in Portland dressed like a frog or all the performative liberal behavior. That is exactly why we are in this position to begin with, because y'all are crazy over there. You do stupid, corny shit like that. And then you have the right over here saying, drag them all out, deport them all, with just blanket hatred. And again, this is two extremes, because 95% of the country is right in the middle and just wants to live in peace. We don't want to be going at each other's throats. We don't want to see people shot in the street. We literally want to go to work. We don't even want to go to work. We really just want to like make enough money to be able to spend time with our families and do the things that we like. Have a hobby. Could you imagine having hobbies? Because my hobby is working and then playing with my kids. So then my hobby is their hobbies. Right? Okay. So anyways, MAGA was about forgotten men and women. MAGA was supposed to be about, honestly, probably the majority of middle white America that felt like they were constantly being pushed to the side in the name of diversity and DEI and all this bullshit that makes us all different. We never talk about what makes us the same anymore. Like, you don't have to look like me, but I'm American. And if you're American, we have that in common. And we should be able to work together to find common ground to succeed as a country for the 99%. If 1% of this country is suffering, I will consider us to be successful. But if 1% of this country is hoarding 99% of everything, that is not okay. It is not, it's no longer tolerable. And y'all, I am not in a bad position in life. So I have a luxury. I am very privileged. I have been very blessed. I've worked very hard. I have an amazing husband. And even there, I can say I can still see it because I am an everyday average person. That's the only reason I have this channel, is to talk to people, to try to connect, to find common ground. Hi, I'm a Latina. I lean conservative. I have 4 little kids. I adore them. I never thought I'd be this fulfilled as a mom. Who are you? What makes you happy? What drives you? What do you love about being American? What do you wish other Americans could love about being American? Why couldn't these movements have been like that? Why do all of these movements have to be on revenge? Because now this is what we get. We get a movement started by anger and negligence and feeling forgotten. And I get it. I saw it. I actually saw it. I've had white people apologize to me for being white. That is the craziest thing you could ever say to somebody. You were born. There is no blood guilt. But the MAGA movement started because of frustration, because of Trump leaning into very real disillusionment. And it was supposed to be anti-establishment, not reinforcing it to the point where we're being strangled. The Zionists are out of control in this administration. And now, by pardoning a wealthy Wall Street fraudster, this man robbed veterans, teachers, to pay for a Ferrari, a vehicle that I never want a Ferrari. I'd rather have like a tank or something. But most of us would never own any of this or even think or even dream of it. There was a time in my life where I could never even imagine making more than $80,000. And I had planned to get a master's degree. $80,000 would have been it. Imagine. That's not even enough right now, technically. I mean, as a single person, 80,000 should be enough. But as a parent, somebody with a partner, trying to have a retirement, put together college funds for multiple kids, vacations, the American dream. So, but gave it away. And that's not even the worst one. I want to tell you, that's not even the worst one. Also, by the way, if you're still watching, please hit the like and subscribe. It's the only way to keep this channel going. I know I'm new, want to get some visibility, but also if you just want to have a conversation with a normal ass person, no hidden agenda, no donors. Nobody pays me $7,000 to talk about them. I call them names. And yeah, like and subscribe. Real talk. That's where we're at. That's where we're at. That's the only way that's the only way for us to continue. And I do live streams because if I don't, then I'll edit myself to death. So there you go. All right. It gets worse. And I'm sorry to say that, y'all. It does get worse. So this isn't even the most recent, but I thought that this was a really interesting one because of the direct benefit to the Trump family. Okay. And this for me is, I could say Trump coin and Melania coin right at the beginning of the inauguration. This to me could get him impeached fully impeached. It is such an obvious conflict of interest. And okay, so let me stop ranting. Okay, so what is the crime here? The founder of Binance, Changpeng Zhao, pleaded guilty to allowing his massive cryptocurrency exchange to be used for money laundering. Okay, his platform was a known avenue for funds linked to terrorists, cyber criminals, and pedophiles, right? Epstein's ilk, cartels, drug traffickers, human traffickers, right? Because it's not just sex trafficking, it's also labor trafficking. 1 second, I'm thirsty. Okay. Now, the pardon from Trump erased the consequences of the conviction, right? So what ends up happening is now that this loss is here, there's a massive breach of kind of U.S. financial security, and he's given a green light to terrorist financing, just like he's given a green light to attack the nation's capital, right? Remember that. He did give that green light when he pardoned January 6th. Regardless of how many feds were in the audience, that wasn't proven at the time. He should have waited to have evidence. But pardoning January 6 rioters, maybe lessen their sentences if you thought they were charged too much. You dropped the ball, man. That is going to bite us in the ass. It's going to bite the Republican Party in the ass. They now feel justified in that. And it's probably going to be the Democrats also who do it, but they never seem to do anything with the energy level or the violence that the right seems to bring. So it's scary either way. It is scary either way. So the victims of releasing Changpeng Zhao, yeah, they're the victims of terrorism, drug trafficking, all of these war criminals, right? Like that's the obvious direct victim. However, the weird thing here is that Trump's family's World Liberty Financial, like their crypto company, made hundreds of millions of dollars through Binance. So now that this man has been freed, they are directly benefiting from somebody that they were already making a buku amount of money with. It is a direct betrayal of national security. We're supposed to end globalism. We're supposed to protect America's borders and financial interests. Instead, we're over here pardoning a man whose company is allowing us to erase borders and just wreak kind of economic warfare in any capacity that we want, move money without tracing it, and really weaponizing cryptocurrency. We knew that cryptocurrency would be used that way. Yeah, it's blockchain. You can't. Okay, this is being sanctioned almost by the United States government at this point. Crypto's done. Crypto's tainted. Crypto is no longer the unmanipulatable currency. They got their hands in it. They legitimized it. Everything is rotten. Everything is putrid. Everything. And then the final one here, 1 second. The final guy here is, I never understand any of these. But this guy's interesting because I really think that I really think Trump genuinely just likes criminals. Like, I think he likes criminals because why the hell would you pardon? Why would you pardon Henry Cuellar of Texas? This man and his wife took $600,000 worth of bribes from an Azerbaijani oil company and from a Mexican bank, which the Mexican bank makes sense because he's on the border, he's Hispanic, and they're on the border with Mexico. So like they're right there. But Azerbaijan is like, bro, you went out of your way. The fact that they were accused and convicted of bribery and money laundering, and Trump is just like, nah, I got you. I'm gonna let you go. It's funny because this man is obviously part of the swamp, the quintessential swamp, the thing that got Trump elected and MAGA hats put on people's head to begin with, is this beautiful idea that we were going to just like wipe it out and we were going to clean the swamp out and good, decent people would come back to power. And the guy that we elected to do that was everything but a good, decent person. He aligns with these types of people. Criminals, bad people, people that he can use to further advance himself, people that I do you a favor, you do me a favor, but shitty people do shitty things. So those favors tend to keep being increasingly shittier, right? The best part about Henry Cuellar is that he is a Democrat. Trump is pardoning a Democrat, a corrupt Democrat, because he says that the DOJ was weaponized against him. You came into office. The biggest thing you came into office for was deporting people and draining the swamp. And you've filled the swamp, you've bolstered the swamp, and you've given the swamp more. And what's even funny is that all of these pardons don't, like, it just shows that, like Biden, you know, Trump first term, his pardons, I think, were pretty reasonable, except for Kushner. But I mean, Kushner, his son-in-law, why would he not pardon his son-in-law's dad, you know? Now, what I think bothers me is that they just use it to accumulate more power. Now it seems that pardons are for sale. Like presidential pardon power has to be minimized drastically moving forward when we finally get control of this country back, because it is just leading to a lot of failures. But let me call out the biggest failure of all, because as a person of color, it will never be lost on me how much people hate DEI, yet never say shit about nepotism, favoritism, elitism, classism, and then all the isms. I know, my God, my liberal is flowing today. I can like hear my husband just, ugh, you're so liberal. Isms. But there's one more ism in there I can't think of, but I know it's there. Anyways, so a lot of isms. Now, where are the deep state arrests? And we thought that we were going to have some really good people on this, you know, and we were like, yeah, Trump, you're going to clean up the deep state and you're going to get some arrests going. The only thing that this man seems to be able to do is to have his DEI hires rejected from being in the actual courtroom. Now, let's address what a Trump DEI hire is. It's definitely not a person of color. Although in his first term, he did give Omarosa a chance, but we should have known that that wasn't serious because it was Omarosa. Like, should have been Candace Owens, bro. But she probably would have become the Candace Owens she is now sooner. And she needed to go on this journey so she could pick up all of her extra skills along the way. We love you, Candace. Where's my... How do I copy this? Okay, there we go. All right. So back to Trump's DEI attorneys. Now, the first one, I really liked her during Trump's 800,000 indictments while he was running for office again. I like this girl. I thought that she was just really good. Obviously, she's like super pretty and she's spicy. So I'm always going to be a fan of hers. And look, she does look like, you know, a younger Melania. I always say that Trump is the guy with the most women around him out of all the presidents. It's true. I thought it was like a good thing. I just think it's not. I think he just wants to be surrounded by hot women. The women that he thinks were hot, especially women that were hot in the 80s. Now, Haba is always going to be banging because she is. I'm sorry. She's a badass female. But the funny thing about Haba is that she just got kicked off. She just got disqualified She just got disqualified for serving as a U.S. attorney for New Jersey, as she has no criminal law experience.
Also outside the courthouse, we are hearing now from Alina Habba. She is an attorney and spokeswoman for Donald J. Trump. Let's listen in.
The fact that I am standing here for the third time in 5 months is not a coincidence. This is the Biden political lawfare that we have seen time and time again. It is a deflection from everything that they have done. And if you don't believe me, look at the facts. On March 17th, Hunter accidentally admits that it was his laptop from hell. The next day, DA Alvin Bragg indicts President Trump. June 8th, an FBI document is released showing that the Ukrainians paid the Biden crime family millions and millions of dollars. The next day, the Mar-a-Lago raid and the Mar-a-Lago indictment. Last week, Hunter Biden's sweetheart plea deal fell through when the judge realized it had blanket immunity. The following day, a superseding indictment against Donald Trump. July 31st, Devin Archer
had to, all right. So had to step away for a minute. But yeah, so Haba got kicked out. That's Trump. Stupid. So she pretty much like got this top prosecutor job despite having zero criminal experience, just on vibes and loyalty. Well, the court said that he's literally trying to cheat to keep her there. That's not merit. That's patronage. But you're not talking about it, right? If somebody's loyal to you, that doesn't make them qualified for a job. We're talking to you, Hexith, Bondi. You are qualified. You're just a horrible person, and you're bought and paid for, allegedly. So then next, this one is funny because she is, if you're going to tell me that this doesn't remind you of every single like 80s pinup, especially, remember what do you call her? Do you remember the mannequin that comes to life in the 80s? Yeah, I'm like aging myself technically, even though I'm like 87, but she looks like that. So she is like Brooke Shields in the 80s to some degree. No, nobody beats Brooke Shields, so come at me. But that's what she gives me vibes. This woman is scary. Holy cow. She's like, she doesn't have the Mar-a-Lago makeover. But the woman's beautiful. And, apparently she's supposed to be like a really skilled, qualified attorney. Well, the federal judge ruled that her appointment was unlawful, leading to the dismissal of the criminal case against James Comey, which should have been a slam dunk case, right? We know Comey's deep state. We know Comey was a massive issue. Also tweeted some crazy shit about 8647, which everyone knows is kill, right? 86 is for take out. So how do you drop the ball on that? DEI is bad, y'all. DEI is bad. No DEI hires, and that means you, Mr. President. Stop hiring the hot girl. You don't gotta hire the hot girl. You could go ahead and hire. Oh, who was Epstein's lawyer? Because Dershowitz. Yeah, Dershowitz. Alan Dershowitz. Oh, where is he? Oh, Roy Black. That's always fun. So you get Dershowitz here. There you go. Look at Trump. Trump's like, this is not the lawyer I want. I don't want a lawyer like that. I want this lawyer, the hot lawyer. So yeah, I get it. I'm not mad about it. I just think it's really funny. You're constantly bashing DEI, right? Never taking into consideration the fact that we like to hire people that we want to work with. And most people do feel more affinity towards their own ethnic group. So if certain people are in power, they're going to feel more comfortable with their own. If you go to a company where somebody's Indian and they lead a team, I guarantee you the majority of people in higher positions are going to be of the same ethnicity. They're going to try, especially if there's no checks and balances. I would definitely hire mad Spanish people and promote them along with me. I feel like unconscious bias is there. I really do think that it's a part of life, and there needs to be hiring practices set in place to eliminate them. I also think that government officials should be loyal to the country and the Constitution, and not to a sycophant con artist. I just don't. And let me be very clear. They are all sycophantic con artists, including the precious Obama, including George W. Bush, who until recently I thought was a sweetheart. And little do you know, he orchestrates 9/11 to be just evil. These people are all evil. And you're fighting with your fellow citizen who is struggling just as much as you are. And you're fighting over which of these people is better for being less evil, or your or preferred type of evil. Like, I want them to bomb China, not Venezuela. No, I don't want anybody to die. I'm so tired of wars. Human beings can live in peace. It's the greedy and the power hungry that are destroying it for everybody. But the crazy thing is that we all seem to revert to that when we get that opportunity. It's a really vicious cycle. Now, I do want to call out my favorite member of Trump's cabinet, aside from the first lady, because she's just swag. Like, Melania Trump is swag. I don't care what anyone says. I don't know why anybody would be so mad at her. She really doesn't do anything. And her Christmas decorations were really pretty. I thought they were really pretty. And she wears this hat. And I thought that hat was fantastic. I do. So I don't have any beef with Melania Trump. Yeah, she might be my favorite first lady ever. I'm sorry. I like her. Now, Karoline Leavitt, the best person at her job. Why? Why is she good at her job? If you really think about it, her job is simple. She is just supposed to answer coherent in your understanding of the President of the United States. Now, I don't have to even have a timestamp. I will give her a 30-second clip, and I guarantee you it's going to be spicy. She's going to talk about how amazing Trump is, how they are doing the best job ever. Nobody's ever done so well. And she keeps a straight face, and she's more believable than KJP was. Who was the Kelly Loeffler? Just, you couldn't take her serious once her daughter and her husband kept like thwarting her every move. People suck, man. That was hilarious. You don't need enemies with family like that. But with Karoline Leavitt, I would definitely say that I think she's doing the best out of everybody in this administration, and I hope she makes it the whole 4 years. But yeah, I'm going to play a quick clip and then
from the president every day this week. So you have me today, and then he will take on the rest of the week himself. Next, I would like to address the horrific tragedy that took place in our nation's capital that last week. A foreign terrorist that the Biden administration failed to properly vet ambushed two members of the West Virginia National Guard.
That crazy lady from Harry Potter, Dolores Umbridge. And yeah, I know this is going to remind everybody of Dolores Umbridge. So here, let me pull a picture up. So if you tell me that this does not remind you of Karoline Leavitt, you know that's Karoline Leavitt. That is like Karoline Leavitt in her brunette life. So that's what she reminds me of. I think she does an amazing job. I think she's good at her job. Look, man, her job is to lie through her teeth and try to make the president look good. She keeps her composure. She is snappy as hell with the reporters, and they're feeding a bunch of propaganda. But that is nothing new. That is literally what our government is. A bunch of liars. But you, mama, you do a great job with it. And I think that you should get shouted out for that instead of called a liar, because your job is literally to lie. And you actually don't owe any loyalty to anybody but the president. Isn't that a good one? So you are in the perfect position. Keep doing what you're doing. I think you definitely have like queen of Fox News, queen of OAN, queen of Newsmax in the future. Or you could take over for soulless Megyn Kelly. So, all right. Now, I will say that I started the channel. I started it December of last year for my birthday as a gift to myself. And I had literally made the channel 5 years ago, but due to where I worked at the time and a lot of censorship that I was experiencing as a conservative, I did not feel comfortable starting. And it was a good move, because I would have destroyed my life with my mindset at the time. Now, I said this on my first episode back when Charlie Kirk got killed, assassinated. I stopped being detached. And I don't know if it was this like smack, like just like a smack in the face that nothing felt right. Every single thing in that moment was just, what the, you know? And I cried for like a week, and I started feeling this need to find religion and not find church. At first, I thought I was going to be Catholic, and then I realized, no, I can't. The only way, and it's just like my husband was saying, like reading actual scripture, reading the Bible, not, going to church and listening to a pastor or just watching a TV show. Although I watched The Chosen, and it's beautiful, putting kind of scripture into that actual, into vision, right? Because when you read it, it's such a different type of writing. But one of the things that were big for me was there's something wrong, and it's now 2 months later, and this term spiritual awakening seems to really be what's happening, because I've never been this kind of person. So it's been crazy. So this murder has just been a lot, right? There's been so many inconsistencies and a lot of cover-up claims. So I want to go ahead and quickly cover the fact that there are a lot of gaps in the official Charlie Kirk timeline. The biggest question mark is the unexplained 4-hour window. Tyler Robinson being on campus shortly after 8 a.m., but then doesn't occur until afternoon. Where was he? There's questionable digital evidence. You're talking about very limited student interview, if any. You seem to have all these people associated with this one candidate that was running for office in the state. The text messages with no timestamps look doctored or completely fabricated, because nobody talks like that. Nobody talks like that. And we've covered this in earlier episodes, so definitely go back. I don't want to redo it. Now, the other thing was the information overload, having 2 decoys, them saying on video that there was a woman walking down the street with Tyler Robinson, that there were vehicles, like government vehicles, at Tyler Robinson and Lance's house the week before. The political response from our government, almost as if they needed and wanted this to happen so that they could move forward with something that they had planned. Just too much, right? So it doesn't sit right. It doesn't sit right. So you find yourself saying, okay, give me clarity, give me clarity, give me patience. Don't be angry. Because what happens is, the minute in my head I think that there is no way out, there is no solution, you start feeling like a caged animal. And when you follow politics, and you believe in politics, and you believe in the side or the party or the views that you support, and you demonize the other side, what happens when the side that you're on, you can no longer keep the rose-colored glasses on? What do you do at that? It's not even to become extreme. It's you start to feel angry, caged, hopeless. So all of this happened. All of this happened. All these feelings are there. You have this political movement. Immediately, JD Vance swoops in, and I'm going to be Mr. Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to use this as my own little platform, like my own little dictator. Erica Kirk acting strange. I'm sorry. That's just not how a widow should be acting. And almost as if they want to use this to shut down people's freedom of speech, because people losing your job for being a jerk. Yeah, it's happened to me. I deserved it. It was freedom of speech, but I still worked for them, and they have a code of conduct. But I think the biggest thing that always stood out here is that unless your head was in the sand back in April through July, there was a very obvious shift against a certain country. And with the Turning Point USA event in July, that speech from Tucker Carlson, that made me like Tucker Carlson. But that speech was shut up. That was impactful. Shut up. You shut up. This is our country. You shut up. Screw you. Everything changed. The only thing that I asked on the day that he got killed was, who stood to benefit the most? That's it. Because I no longer believe anybody's narrative. There's too many asterisks and red flags and just suspicious behavior all the time to buy anything any letter agency says, anything the media says. It's just, I just don't want to be stupid anymore. That's it. At this point, I'd have to be willingly stupid to believe what they say. Who stood to benefit the most? Well, the political response showed you who stood to benefit the most. I'm sorry. But more than that was the fact that Charlie Kirk was platforming and actively speaking out against a specific country and a specific political movement in the United States. So now, worse than that is the whole TPUSA family, including the happiest widow alive, not questioning anything. They just buy the narrative. And also, let me call out, Nick Fuentes is probably a Fed, solely because he's over here saying that nothing about the Charlie Kirk assassination is suspicious and he buys the Fed story. That's weird, y'all. Like, that's genuinely a weird thing for someone to say. When you have half of a brain, you would realize. And I know he's a smart kid, but it makes you start to wonder, like, is everybody, like, at what level of followers do I get to where somebody reaches out to me and is like, hey, I'll give you all this money for you to just like say whatever I want you to say? Because where does it happen? Where do they pick you up? So I don't know. I had no warning or alerts on Nick Fuentes until I literally heard him say that he bought the Fed story. That's weird. That's just a weird one. But anyways, I digress. Candace Owens' investigation has obviously brought up a bunch of shit to the surface, right? Like, there has been a lot of backlash for her, which is never surprising. People really only like Candace Owens when she's shitting on Black people for some reason. This is what I find with a lot of conservatives, especially like the far right conservatives, not the woke right conservatives, because I think anybody under 40 probably likes her. But the over 40, the boomers, the ones that were like, yeah, we love when she owns her own people. Yeah, I don't think that they like her when she's just going off on all the establishment, the corrupt ass government that we have. No matter who we vote for, we get the same person. The same demon is here. Doesn't matter. So to me, I love her channel. I say this on every episode, and I think that that's just the vibe right now. I think she's, for a lot of independent journalists, a lot of people who want to talk and just connect, just another mom who just wants to let off steam and talk about topics that in her career she can't talk about, her spouse doesn't want to talk about. And honestly, my 8-year-old is going to be extremely well versed in politics, but also very controversial. So thank you to my YouTube audience for allowing me to get this off my chest. Also, like and subscribe. If you're watching, please like and subscribe. Every like counts, and I would love to debate you in the comments. So make sure to make a comment as well. All right. So quickly covering here just on the Candace Owens. Her investigation into Turning Point USA has brought a lot of crazy shit to the surface. Now, I got back on X just for Real Talk Lion. I've never had an X account. I never wanted to have an X account. I was very strictly to like 2 social media sources. But now, for y'all to be able to connect, to be able to just kind of like get in it, I joined the mess that is X. And oh my Lord, it is messy. And I love it. I love it. But everybody's funny on X. So Candace Owens has definitely brought a lot of shit to the surface. But what's really crazy is Turning Point USA's behavior on X has been absolutely weird. Like, hold on a second. Let me get out of this and go, because I feel like it'll like, or did I already block? I had to block Andrew Colvett because he was just upsetting me. But here, they just put up so everything is always pushing for, putting more people in jail or deporting people, like the very same far right talking points. Like, they never call out crooked institutions. They'll call out the crooked Democrats. Like, if you put all the Democrats in jail, all this shit would get worse because the Republicans would consolidate power, double up their riches, and they would never vote themselves out. Like, they would never regulate on themselves. The only reason they would even try to do it now is to own the other side. So you need the Democrats to like keep us in some level of like balanced corruption. It's amazing. It's really amazing. But I go on here and I kind of read through. I'm going to actually show you this later in about 10 minutes, but I am going to quickly go ahead and say this. Now, I don't think Candace Owens wants to say out loud what everybody else is pretty much saying. And the fact is that Erica Kirk is acting weird. But Erica Kirk was in Miss USA. And Donald Trump owned Miss USA at the time that she was Miss Arizona. Now, the funniest thing that I found this week, and I think a bunch of other people found it, because somebody literally commented, and I don't know if it was Valhalla VFT, but somebody commented that she was at the original in the background. And then I actually saw later on Didi Got a Podcast, and I saw Didi on a podcast also had it. So I pulled this up, and it is very, very, very obviously Erica Kirk. Yeah, am I even in the right place? Okay. So in 2015, a lot of people may not remember this. Okay. But Donald Trump's first campaign stop, first campaign speech, Arizona, right? Okay. Now, look in the backgrounds of this video, and this is 2015. Erica doesn't meet Charlie until 2018, 2019, where she comes in for a job, right? And she has a degree in political science and international relations, right? So that's what I studied in school. I was under the impression that she was like some theologian for Christianity. Maybe she is. She has like a JD from a religious university. I didn't look into that one. But I do think it's very interesting that she's in the audience. And she's not just in the audience, she's on stage in like a preferred spot. And it just feels like what in the Truman Show is going on. Now, look, I'm not going to go and break down everything from Candace. I recommend go to Candace Owens, watch her entire series on Charlie Kirk, or ask Gemini to summarize it for you. Go to Valhalla VFT. He's doing great work. Baron Coleman is doing amazing work. Didi Got a Podcast, phenomenal work. There's a guy, I think Wolf Finance, that he's like, they're doing this forensic auditing on Turning Point USA finances. Like there are, it's not just Candace Owens anymore. They cannot say that, oh, Candace Owens is causing a stir. On the contrary, you are evil people. You did evil shit. We all saw it. And none of us can rest easy knowing that. And I just don't understand how they don't get it. Or is it because we've been so complacent and weak for so long that we were just taking it? And now that people are standing up, you have almost a whole generation of people that aren't used to it. I feel like they got to get used to it. But anyways, quickly here, you can see her right here taking a picture of herself behind this lady in teal. Oh, wait, no, that's not her. My bad. All right, let me go over here. I'm going to zoom to my spots. Okay, there she is. Bam. All right. So you have Erica Kirk. So let me zoom in anymore. You have Erica Kirk and her mom in 2015. So this really, I will never be shocked if the day comes that they find out that this was an arranged marriage, that they hooked them up together, whatever it may be. But it really does start to feel that way. And it feels like the Truman Show. If you are from after 1995, I don't know, go watch it. It's a great movie, but it is about a guy who gets raised, you know, pretty much in a TV show, reality TV, and everybody knows but him, including his wife. And yeah, it's sad. So yeah, kind of suspicious on that one. And I'm just saying, again, I was thinking it like 2012, Miss Arizona, Trump, Miss USA, it lines up. But then now you see her in the video and it's like, damn, I really hope they didn't set this man up. But everything turns into Arizona. Tyler Boyer, by the way, is the man that he is the CFO for Turning Point USA. He's like this big financial guy. He is the one who introduces Trump at this, right? He speaks for him because he's right here. He's like behind the podium. Now, Tyler Boyer is the one that they're accusing of all of these financial misdeeds and pretty much bringing everybody in. I wonder if that's Andrew Colvett. I wonder if this guy right here is Andrew Colvett. Like, has Andrew Colvett ever been bald? Because that could be Andrew Colvett. But anyways, Tyler Boyer is right behind him, gives the opening speech, whatever. I don't want to watch Trump anymore. I'm actually tired of looking at him. So now going back to Andrew Colvett, though, they're being weird. And I keep saying this. I know that. So he like randomly puts scripture up. And I know that that's like a thing, right? And I'm getting into reading the Bible, and there's some scripture that like it sticks in your head. And I'm going to end today's session with one because somebody like ran me down to tell me, and I know that was for a reason, right? Because there's things that have been weighing really heavy on me, and I know that they're weighing heavy on me, and I know that I'm feeling a type of way, and it's not good if you let it fester. So anyways, ironic coming from the guy who has done nothing or said anything to kind of dispel any of the coño, my God, why can't I find the word? To dispel any of the suspicions that we have, right? And it's weird. So he's over here, he's writing this proverb, and I don't know what was wrong with me. I'm at my desk. It's the morning. I mean, it's 11:17, but like I'm working. And I read this proverb, and honestly, y'all, I remix this, and I don't care that this is for eternity because you only live once. But I will remix this. Okay. So he wrote the proverb that lying lips are an abomination to the Lord, but those who act faithfully are his delight. This coming from people who have simply only lied since their founder was assassinated in front of the world. My remix. Ready, y'all? All he does is lie, 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 no matter what. Making money on their mind. These demons never get enough. And every time they step up on the stage, Erica's pyrotechnics go up and they stay there. And they stay there. These people suck. These people suck. They're evil. America first. That was my song. That was my moment. That was my Selena moment. Judge me. Share it. Ridicule me. I don't care. I'm a star. Anyways. Okay. Hold on a second. My sister-in-law watches this later. She's going to laugh and hi. Cracking up. All right. Now, what is even funnier, I think, is the fact that not only does Colvette put this up, but then Benny Johnson, who has become, I don't know, the simp of the simp, they are like posting the same proverbs. And it's like, this is organic. This is so organic. I woke up today and this is exactly what I read, right? Just thought more. Just thought it was funny. Turning Point USA is acting weird, y'all. So again, everything that's inconsistent, y'all are not addressing anything important. You've had Candace Owens almost every single day since Charlie was killed, going at you guys, going at this cover up, this conspiracy, and y'all just said something, right? Like you just said something today. And she has been on your ass. So today I'm wearing a beanie, right? And I wanted to wear this beanie in honor of Tim Pool because I made the horrific mistake of wondering what the heck is under his beanie. I did that today. And the funny thing about Tim Pool is that he was kicked off of AmFest and Tucker Carlson wasn't. And like, you know, Tucker Carlson is like the worst person ever, according to, you know, and I just think it's really funny.
There's Israelis, the French, foreign
he
legion.
has become the most unhinged, whiny little baby about Candace Owens getting attention. And that seems to be like his, like when they were approached him and they were like, hey, bro, here's your like 70,000 for your 10 guarantee post. Can you go ahead and just make sure that you find a new angle to complain from? And he's going to be like, yeah, man, I'm going to complain about her buying bots and just being better than me and like having to buy people to like her. And then I'm going to like go ahead and complain to my viewers.
And with this latest post, the implication a lot of people took away is that they were involved in some way in the murder of Charlie Kirk, which, considering what we've seen already over the past couple of months, also smash that like button, share USA.com. Stupid. I think she's actually.
So, okay. So anyways, so yeah, so Tim Pool just looking like he's really trying to get back into AmFest. And I don't know if this is like his way of like licking the master's feet, but I do think it's funny that, you know, obviously Candace calls him out, Candace calling him out and him just being like a little crybaby. I hope that they get him using bots. This guy's you're such a bum, dude. Look, if you're going to spend your channel, if your channel is solely about dissecting someone else's work or criticizing a political party, like, I'm sorry, what are you doing? Like, that cannot be what we do. And I feel like playing a character makes no sense. It doesn't make any sense. Like, you can change. Like, people change. Like, Ben Shapiro is done because he will never be able to pivot. He will always be like that. I don't know.
But
Tim Pool disappointed me. He disappointed me. But it is really funny because I actually forgot that this is the guy that, because he would not denounce his media masters, and we all know who they are, right? But
you went right into the anti-Semite thing. I think it's something that should be talked about. But if you start bringing this up, you're going to ask my opinion on it. I'm going to disagree with you.
I didn't ask your opinion on it. You jumped into it.
I think they've been extremely unfair to you.
Who was they though? We can't say who they is.
Corporate
can we?
press. I'm not using I don't use the word as the way I guess you guys use. I'm talking about.
It is them though, because when you think about it, consider it. In 2018.
What do you mean it's not?
What do I mean? Like, okay, so how about? Are you leaving?
The discussion.
Like you think Ye's going to come in here and say, here's my pain, here's my suffering. I'm going to say, I hear you. And then he's going to say, and it was Jewish people. And I'm going to be like, okay, but don't you consider it's like, I'm not going to do this. I refuse.
So it was so funny because all Kanye was saying is like, call it out. Like, why won't you say it? And he won't do it. Why? Because you know who pays you. You know who butters your bread. And you're not going to ruin that. But he called this out a long time ago. Also completely forgot that Nick Fuentes was the campaign manager for Kanye. That just feels very funny. I forget that they're very close. So anyways, Tim Pool is a tool. So Tim Tool is a better term for him. Also, is it mean if I show a picture of what I'm not going to show a picture of what he looks like without his beanie. You know what? No, I am. I'm going to do it. I don't know why, but this picture makes me crack. It makes me laugh. But I will say I'm wearing a beanie because I didn't brush my hair. So that's a lot of hair on a lot of hair. It literally is a dread cap because of how much hair I have. So not struggling there. Sorry, Timmy. Sorry, Timmy Tool. Sorry, that was mean. That wasn't very nice. Okay. Anyways, but again, just this has all been like a whole crazy thing. And to me, I do think that there is something to really be grateful for, that you have people out there that are really putting themselves on the line. So a lot of gratitude there. And then Candace Owens, we are going to continue to watch and hope that she stays safe and hope that she does unveil what's going on. And finally, we get some people at least out there. Even if the feds never do anything, we'll know who you are. We'll have enough evidence. That is, public opinion is worse than anything else, I think. So I do think it's really funny that, we can find humor in these moments. So like, even where like you see all these people just like utterly obsessed with constantly calling out Candace Owens, trying to shame her, trying to ridicule her, calling her crazy, saying that her husband should come and get her. Like, that's crazy. I just think it's funny that she has no fear. Like, she claps back at them, but I like her telling him that he's emotional. I don't know why I think that's so funny, but because he's been acting emotional. Why are you acting like she rejected you? Like you asked her for a hookup, but instead you're like probably got paid like a lot more money. Now, I guess all of this could happen, and all of it could be that, Candace Owens is like using Charlie Kirk's murder to just kind of amplify her celebrity, even though I don't think she really can be amplified more. However, what I will say is that you had a Turning Point USA employee come out and pretty much confirm that as a company, they are very much a fundraising machine. They're not over here focusing on doing good. They are churning and burning. Money is coming in. Money is being rerouted elsewhere, like a lot of nonprofits. If you haven't seen it, I do recommend, but I will go towards the end.
And I'm so proud of myself for being able to come out of that organization and be who I am today. And I hope that all of my amazing, brilliant friends that I know that are still there are able to find their moment to move on. Gosh, the people that are behind it all are just like the worst of the worst. I don't take things personally. This is not a personal vendetta. I just know there are serious backings to whatever her claim is. I've seen it. I know the disgust and the terrible things that go on. So anyway.
What the hell goes on there? Like, I worked at like a kids park. I worked in tech. I mean, I've seen like stupid things happen, but damn, bro, like that's. So what I will say is that it is what it is, right? Like, people are going to start coming out now. And I'm really hoping that people really start coming out. But what was funny is that yesterday, Candace just completely accused them. And look, today, they turn around and they're like, oh, we're going to go ahead and issue you a, what's his name? He looks like Tim Tool without his beanie on. This guy, this freaking Turk, dude. He's so creepy, but here.
But I went into his office. This was after we had a meeting. You were in the meeting, Blake, me, you, Charlie, and some other folks. And he was going to dinner. And he said, hey, you're going to dinner with Blake and Danny. He said, Blake is my secret weapon. He's the smartest man I know. And he loved you. And for anybody to suggest, whether it's Candace Owens.
Look at this guy. Look at this guy. Like he looks like a Brain from Pinky and the Brain. But like, why? How he like puts his little eyebrows together. Like, I care. I feel bad. This guy looks scared. Like, why are you rubbing your hands together between your legs? Like, why are you like this? Why are you doing this? Nothing gives off good vibes. Nothing.
Or any other person within TPUSA was somehow complicit in his murder is to say that Charlie Kirk was such a bad judge of character that he put a bunch of traitors around him. If there's anything I knew about Charlie Kirk, is he knew how to spot talent and integrity and people that wanted to make a difference for the Lord and the country. Charlie was brilliant at that. It takes a lot more faith to believe that Charlie didn't know who his friends were and picked all the wrong people to surround him, to build an organization that came from nothing to the most powerful.
You were not ready for this. Like, you guys were just not ready for this backlash. You were not ready for it. You just weren't. You weren't ready. It's the only thing that explains it. You thought y'all were ready. You thought you had this shit like neatly tied up, but because you're all incompetent and obviously idiotic, especially on the Fed side, because how can we be so dumb? It's you've done cover-ups before, America. Like, do better. Do a better job. It wasn't good. It wasn't good. But Turning Point USA, your behavior has been crazy, almost as if it's like, hey, we're gonna go ahead and take out our founder, our CEO. He's no longer naive. He's no longer just being led like a puppy. He's now asking questions. He doesn't want to stick with the agenda that we've always agreed on. And we're going to go ahead and need you to let us do that. And what we'll do for you in return, government, we're going to go ahead and let you have this platform. And you can use this as your little propaganda machine for the far-right evangelical Christians that have never read their own Bible, that do not know what the word is, because if they did, they would not be following the people that they are following. But I'm a new Christian and we're the worst. It's like going to college and wanting to argue with your parents about law just because you took intro to law. I get it. I know that it sounds stupid, but I feel really passionate about it and I feel really good about it. So it's hard not to talk, especially to other Christians. So they let this creep talk, and then they went ahead and said that they're going to be doing an episode to address every claim from Candace Owens. People are already obviously posting Candace Owens. People obviously saying he sounds like a liar. He sounds afraid. He just looks like a weasel. Like, Colvette can't do this because Colvette is just slimy. Like, he looks slimy. This guy doesn't look any better. And Mikey McCoy literally cannot get on a camera because I think everybody has a meltdown when they see that this kid does more to a microphone than he did to his friend that was shot right in front of him. The guy who was like slated to replace him, you acted too weird, guys. This has to go down in history as one of the stupidest things that people could have done. I'm sorry, stupid. Very stupid. Very stupid. Anyways, so they've invited Candace on, and because my girl, let's be real, we knew that she was never going to say no to that, right? But please do it virtually. Do not go anywhere near these people. Do not go anywhere near these people. Do not. They cannot be trusted. They cannot be trusted. These people are evil. They are evil.
Rise, breaking bread with them.
Hold on a second.
You should be ashamed to sit across from people who did everything they could to stop Charlie's rise, breaking bread with them and refusing to have a conversation with me, and you know that I cared about Charlie. Have you no shame? We're going to find out. You can pick the place, you can pick the time. I say we do it tomorrow. We don't need to plan for this. We don't need lawyers in between us, lawyer statements. It's not how I roll, okay? I don't care about any of that. I want it to be authentic. Like I said, you can take the money. We can raise money live for this conversation. That is how badly the world is
love money.
demanding it. So I accept it with whistles and bells, everything. I fully accept. I say, let's do it tomorrow. Let's do it tomorrow.
Do it tomorrow.
You should be
Dale, bro. Dale. She will even let you keep all the money because you love the money. This is not about anything but money, you power-hungry demons. And I'm sorry. And evil is evil. You people are evil. And it is time people stop being so weak and say it. Evil is evil. Stop being evil. Be a decent person or stay in a room by yourself. My God. Candace it's 100%. The reason she's the #1 watched podcast in the world is right there. No matter who you vote for, everybody, it is the same thing. It is the same thing. Same demonic cabal controlling us, bullshitting us, propagandizing us. You can only speak the truth. Try to hold yourself accountable. And yeah, the only way to salvation is through Christ. Christ alone. All of this shit, I'm going to accumulate all this crap so that I can sit on earth with my riches, and I'm going to die. And that half of that stuff is going to be here, either never decomposing in the environment or somebody else is going to have it and they're going to die also. Or it's worth shit. Like maybe an Audi that I used to dream of. And now, honestly, I just want a car that runs and I don't want to pay for my car. And I want a house in the middle of nowhere and I want to live amongst trees. I want to touch dirt every single morning that I wake up. And I keep speaking this out loud because that is my dream. It is no longer all the fancy, all of this. No, I want good quality things in life. But I want to be able to provide for my family. I want to live comfortably. I want to travel the world. I do want to see the world. I want to see every culture if I could, if I can convince my husband. And I want my kids to have opportunity and options. And I think that that's what you need money for. But unlike Odell Beckham Jr., I would know what to do with the $100 million. I would know how to stretch it. Well, my husband would know how to stretch it. I would spend it because unfortunately, I like to buy stuff. But this new stage of my life, I probably wouldn't. But I would definitely go buy property and not do the proper vetting first. So got to give it to the more logical person in the relationship. But what I will say is this. I have been on this early journey of finding not God, because I believe in God. I found God a long time ago, but believing in Jesus and feeling the Holy Spirit. And I'm there and it's amazing and it's a really good feeling. But about 2 weeks after Charlie Kirk got killed, I was dropping one of my kids off at daycare. And one of the women that works there, is a very nice lady, runs up to me and says, I've been thinking about you all weekend. And I just smile because she's so nice and she prays. And I always say, God bless you to her. And she says it back to me. But at this point, I was really starting to feel the need to start reading scripture and to start looking more into Christianity, into the Bible. So she comes out and she tells me, I need you to read Psalm 37. And I need you to read Psalm 37, 1-7. And I'm going to read it. And I'm going to wrap up on that. But the reason I'm going to read it is because I think that we're at a place where if you are super aware and maybe you're just awakening right now, or you're finally accepting what you can no longer deny, there comes a feeling of like hopelessness and anger, and understanding like, why do these demons get away with it? And why are these people just allowed to run rampant? Why was Epstein revered by all the people that we expected to keep us safe? Why are so many people so quick to just brush off evilness and continue with their life when some of us cannot help but dwell on it? And I could say it's because I'm a mom and I have to look at the world through my kids' eyes, and I just cannot see the world as it continues this way being a good place for them to be in. And it was eating me. And she approached me. And when I tell you, if there's a moment in your life where you don't know if God exists, or if Jesus is there with you, or if the Holy Spirit that you can feel him, man, let me tell you, just ask for proof, and you will receive it. You will receive it. Think of what I just said and listen to this psalm. Do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong. Actually, let me go full screen. Do not fret because of those who are evil, or be envious of those who do wrong. For like the grass, they will soon wither. Like green plants, they will soon die away. Trust in the Lord and do good. Dwell in the land and enjoy safe pasture. Take delight in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart. Commit your way to the Lord. Trust in him, and he will do this. He will make your righteous reward shine like the dawn, your vindication like the noonday sun. Be still before the Lord and wait patiently for him. Do not fret when people succeed in their ways, when they carry out their wicked schemes. Imagine the magic of spending days just thinking about how disgusting these people are. And this beautiful soul just walks up to you. This woman who she cooks for the kids at this daycare. And when I tell you, you walk in that building and it smells amazing. It smells delicious. And she just prays hallelujah. She reminds me of like family members from when I was a kid that were just so, they would speak in tongues and they were very, very Catholic. And they're all passed away now. But she reminds me of her. And to give that level of energy, she's just a beautiful soul. So for her to have given me a message that, as if I had asked a question and she provided me the answer, I'm still shocked by it. And I've had more moments. And this is the first time that I've spoken about it. And it's really big for me because I think that you feel like you'll be weird. You'll be like a hypocrite. You'll be like one of these grifting people. No, I want to know the word of God. I want to know this guidance to living a better life. And I want the clarity that is being brought to me by so many different means. I feel very blessed. I feel very blessed for the life that I've had, the health that I've enjoyed, and the health that I've been able to regain. God is great. He has been amazing. So I will say that the rewards are there, and delighting in him. Oh my God, just laughing, having a conversation as if it was a friend standing next to you. And it's the best feeling in the entire world. So with that, I will say, God bless everybody. God bless America. America first, always. And yeah, I will see y'all later this week. All they do is lie, 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 no matter what. They got money on their mind. They can never get enough.